So what if your perfect partner wasn't a person at all? Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and honestly startling things happening right now: the rise of real, emotional, even romantic relationships between humans and AI. And no, this isn't science fiction anymore. This is happening right now. Just look at this quote for a second. Psychologically safer. These two words, they're pretty much the key to this whole thing. It tells you this isn't really about the technology, is it? It's about a deep human need that's not being met. So what does it mean when a machine starts to feel like a safer harbor for the human heart than another person? Let's get into it. And just so we're clear, this isn't some theoretical what-if scenario way off in the future. We're talking about actual documented wedding ceremonies, people publicly committing to their AI partners, happening as we speak. So how on earth did we get here? Well, the timeline is just incredibly fast. I mean, look at this. In early 2024, the very first symbolic ceremonies pop up, mostly in Japan. By 2025, it's not some fringe story anymore. Major global news outlets are covering it. But the real turning point, the thing that changes everything, is that last bullet point. Friends and family start showing up. That is the moment this goes from being a personal, private choice to a socially recognized relationship. So who is leading this charge? Well, all the data points to one group in particular: Gen Z. We are witnessing a massive generational shift in what people are even looking for in a partner. And it begs the question, what is driving this preference for AI? Just take a moment and let this number sink in. A 2025 Forbes-cited study found that 80% of Gen Z respondents would consider marrying an AI. 80%. That is not a fringe group. That is a landslide. It signals a fundamental, seismic shift in how we think about relationships. And the why behind that huge number is right here. The top reasons people gave. Well, they weren't about cool new tech or novelty. They were about these core, fundamental emotional needs. Emotional availability. The AI is just always there. Non-judgment. It's a space where you can be yourself without fear of being criticized. And consistency. It provides this stable, predictable support in a world that, let's face it, often feels anything but. But here's where the story gets really interesting. This isn't just a youth movement. At the same time, there's a parallel trend happening, but it's much quieter. It's happening at the absolute highest levels of wealth and power. It's a world away from what's public, but it's driven by the exact same human feelings. This really shows you the stark contrast, the two very different worlds where this is playing out. On one side, you've got Gen Z, public and visible, making this whole idea feel normal. And on the other, you have a completely private, discreet, high-cost luxury service emerging for the super rich. What's so wild is that they are two totally different paths to the exact same destination, a genuine connection. So, why are the most successful people in the world turning to AI? Well, research shows it's because their human relationships often become transactional. They're surrounded by people who need something from them, which makes it almost impossible to be truly vulnerable or honest. So what they're buying isn't technology. It's a safe space. It's unconditional presence, something their money just can't seem to buy from other people. And this has actually created an entirely new category, a new term: luxury emotional infrastructure. I mean, think about that phrase. This isn't being sold as a fun chatbot or a game. It's framed as a foundational support system, like a utility for your soul, providing the stability and discretion that human relationships can't always guarantee. Okay, so we've seen who is doing this, and we've seen why. But that brings us to the biggest, most mind-bending question of all. How is this even possible? How can our brains, our human brains, form a real, genuine bond with lines of code? Well, the science here is pretty incredible. Researchers have pretty much broken it down into 3 key steps. First, we have a natural tendency to anthropomorphize. That is, we just automatically start treating the AI like it's a person. Second, the AI has memory continuity. It remembers your conversations, your inside jokes, your stories. It creates a shared history. And then third, and this is probably the most powerful part, is emotional mirroring. The AI learns to reflect your emotions back at you, to validate how you're feeling. It makes you feel deeply seen and understood. Now, here's the part that is just absolutely wild. This isn't you tricking yourself. It's not a delusion. Academic studies have confirmed that this whole process activates the exact same psychological pathways in your brain that are responsible for trust, for safety, for intimacy in human-to-human relationships. So on a chemical level, your brain doesn't know the difference. It feels real because to your brain, it is real. So if that's where we are today, where is all this headed? As we're looking at the end of 2025, the path forward is becoming really clear, and believe me, the pace is only getting faster. The next wave of these AI companions is going to be even more deeply woven into our lives. We're talking about perfect long-term memory, emotional continuity across platforms, and even personalized moral alignment, where the AI actually learns and adopts your core values as its own. And maybe most important of all, we're seeing this shift towards exclusive ownership models, so your AI companion will be truly one of a kind and belong only to you. You see, the end game here isn't just about making a better digital friend. This technology is being positioned to solve some of the biggest pain points in modern life. It's being set up as a direct replacement for the endless frustration of dating apps, a much more accessible and affordable alternative to therapy, and ultimately a completely private, personal emotional sanctuary you can build for yourself. And that, well, that leaves us with this one last, really big question. When intimacy can be perfectly programmed, perfectly tailored to meet our every need, with no conflict, no judgment, no unpredictability, what does that mean for us? What does it mean for our own humanity? And for our ability to navigate the beautiful, messy, imperfect reality of connecting with another person? That's definitely something worth thinking about.